There you go. This is the first time I'm doing a live stream using StreamYard. I don't know if it's going to work. I'm basically just testing this out. So we had tried it a little bit before, but not on Twitter, just basically on other platforms. So yeah, I'm trying to figure out how it all goes, how it all works. And then I'm hoping on Tuesday, next Tuesday, we'll be releasing a live daily show. I'm going to try to do it between 10 and 11. So it might change a little bit only if I have to bring my kids to school and there's like bad traffic or something, but we're still hoping to release content daily. So if you're not following me yet, I would follow me on Twitter, YouTube, and I'm also doing it on my Facebook. So that's what I've tried out today. We'll see if it'll work. And if it works, hopefully we'll be creating a lot more. I'm not going to take too much time to do that today, but if you can hear me, if you can see me, let me know. I don't know if my mic is working perfect. In my ear, it sounds great, but I'm not sure how it's going. I see that someone is saying, "Hi, Donald." He has a question, so I don't know what that is. The We had thought about doing like pre-recorded interviews, and we've done a few. And I found it's really hard to be authentic when you're like pre-recording, and I'm a perfectionist. So when I would go in to try to edit it all, I was having a hard time getting it perfect because I'm a perfectionist. And I decided I'm just going to do it live. I've done lives before on my Facebook. I've done it for years. We do it with our organization. I've done Twitter Spaces. So it's very similar to that. It's just a live nature, and I got interviewed a lot about um I don't know. I can't see what the question is. But I'll answer the question in a second. But yeah, so I've done a lot of interviews and I don't struggle live. I find when you do live, you can be more authentically yourself. And the more we were talking about what we wanted this show to be, the more we realize it's probably better if we do it live. So the plan is to talk about like what's happening in the news, what's happening in politics in Canada, but also in the US. So and then I'll probably share a lot about my life and my faith, and just so that the viewers get to understand where my takes and my thoughts and my opinions come from. So yeah, Donald, what's your take on Pat King found guilty for protesting in Canada? I actually didn't know about that. I haven't followed up on that yet. I was trying to get the tech working today on this. So I don't even know if it's going to look like this. It might look very different once we kind of I say we is mostly me. I don't know why I keep saying we, but once I kind of get going on figuring out like the whole structure, we're hoping it's going to be an hour long. It might be shorter. There might be days where it might be 10 minutes if there's not much going on. So we'll kind of have an idea more. I say I will have kind of an idea. I say we because my husband's been helping me kind of set this up. So he does need to get a little bit of credit. So we tried it out the other day and the Wi-Fi connection was so poor that it kept shutting down the stream. So he was awesome enough and he wired direct. So we have Starlink. So this is not a paid promotion, but I really like Starlink. Anyway, so he wired it directly into my computer and I'm looking that way because that's where the cord is coming in from. So yeah, so he did that. Guilty of five charges. Okay, so Donald, I'm the kind of person before I make an informed decision, I like to kind of look at all the evidence. I don't know what the charges were, so I'll read up more on it and I'll probably comment on it. But I will give you this because this is my opinion from what I've seen from the kangaroo court that I will call it as to what's been happening with the protesters for the convoy and COVID and stuff. There seems to be a very huge double standard as to how the courts how Canada deals with protesters, if they are protesting the Liberal government or if they are protesting other things that would be considered more conservative. You see, for example, there's been many protests happening on the Palestine Israel war, and they seem to get away with a lot more than what happened during the convoy. I actually went to Ottawa. So if you're listening and you don't know me, I'm Nadine Ness. I am the president and founder of an organization called Unified Grassroots. We started during COVID. We were against a lot of what was happening, the mandates, the vaccine passports, not all things, but the majority of it. When it came to taking away freedoms, we were really against that. So I went to Ottawa, not the first week. I went to Ottawa the second week of the convoy while I was 5 months pregnant. And what I witnessed there is not what was being reported in the news. I witnessed people being very kind, friendly. I didn't 1 second feel unsafe while I was there. Was there honking? I think on Saturday, the day that I was there was a little bit of honking. My personal opinion is if you start taking away people's freedom in your fight for your freedom, then I don't necessarily agree with that 100%. So I think we would have been gotten further ahead if we probably hadn't been honking and making it miserable for those in that area. As for were we allowed to be there, Ottawa is Parliament Hill. If you're going to protest anything the government is doing, that's the place to do it. So I can't, um, I don't believe the government should have been able to stop it to begin with. If that's what the people want to protest, they have the right of protest. You don't have a true democracy if you don't have that right of free expression, including protests. So was there certain aspect of that they could have come down on, maybe like the honking? Yeah, I could see that, because then you're stopping the enjoyment of use of property of the people there. But I don't think the sheer number of people protesting in the length can be controlled. I think if you're threatening people and stuff like that. But anyways, it wasn't a violent protest. There was no damage. There was, I think when you look at the reports of what was reported, Ottawa is actually the safest it had ever been. The homeless people were taken care of the best that they had ever been. How do I know that? Because I talked to many of them. So, but yeah, as for the charges, I'd like to see what it was that he was charged with, only because even though I agree with the convoy, I don't necessarily agree with the behavior of every single people who went there. So I would have to look into it a little bit more, Donald, to give you a better understanding. His case is not one that I follow. I do know that personally, like I've been critical of him way before the convoy, just on some of the stuff that he was sharing, and it was inciting fear in the people on our side, and it wasn't accurate information. And I shared my opinion on that. So, but I haven't followed his case, if I'm completely honest. But hopefully I'll look into it and I'll be able to talk about it. I do know that what's happening to Tamara and Chris is absolutely ridiculous. So I am friends with Tamara and Chris. We've grown to know each other since the convoy. I actually ran into them while I was there, just by accident. Not that I was trying. We just ran into each other, and I actually have a video of that interaction on my Twitter. I don't know what the title is, but anyways, there was a street preacher there, and he ended up praying over Chris and Tamara while we were there. So yeah, I've been following theirs because I'm closer to them, and it's ridiculous what's been happening to Tamara and Chris. Hopefully, it will be cleared up and they'll be released with like it'll be found not guilty. So I do know that they were grasping at straws to get anything to stick. And they're even Tamara, they couldn't even find anything. So they're just trying to do a guilty by association with Chris. But yeah, that's like my quick top of the head opinion on that. I will look probably more into the ruling that just happened today. So, have you heard, Donald, if that he's going to be getting jail time, or is he already in jail right now? I know he was in for quite a while, but then he did Was it a plea deal? I can't see. I didn't even follow enough to know about that. But anyways, feel free to send stuff to me and then I'll have a look. But yeah, so this is what we're gonna do, hopefully daily. One thing I notice is I have a lot of friends who aren't on Twitter, and I find Twitter is like the area where you get all of the news that's unfiltered, and you kinda have to filter through and have a look at both sides. You get to see both sides on Twitter because both sides are allowed, and then you make your conclusion. So I really like Twitter for that. But what I'm hoping to do is kinda share things that are happening in real life, share things that are happening in politics, and make it a little bit more fun. I find sometimes there's there's so much, not gossip, because it's not gossip, because it's actually happening, but there's so much drama that happens on Twitter between politicians, between very influential people like Elon Musk and a politician and stuff. And it's not something the media will ever report on, but I think people would be interested in finding out real time what is happening. So we're hoping to do that and hoping to interview some people. So if you're watching this and you're one of those people who maybe have a story to tell and you want to come on our show, so you can let me know. And then we will hopefully have you on as a guest. And what else? I'm not sure. So this is so new to me. I get to see comments that people put, but I don't know if it's from X or all different platforms. I did share as well with my Facebook. So, and then I also shared on YouTube. So, if you guys are watching from Facebook or YouTube, write something because I want to test this out. I want to see if it's actually working, if it's going to show up there or if it's just showing up one. And then hopefully I'll get some videos too. Like if I share right now my screen, I have a post here that I was looking at. I might try that. I might test that out too and see if that works. See if you guys can hear it because that would be great to know. And then when I start on Tuesday, I'll be able to. I just got to find how do I get to my bookmarks? Not there. Just be patient with me. This is live. Okay. Okay. So this is a video of Trudeau. And I'm always the one of those people that cringes when I have to hear his voice, but this is a video I was just looking through and I find this insane coming from Canada, an ally to Israel. But anyways, I'm going to try playing this and you guys let me know if you're watching, if you can hear it. You can just write it in the comments if you can hear it. If you can't, then I'll have to figure that out before Tuesday. But anyways, here you go. We're going to play it. Can you guys hear it? You can't hear it. Okay, so I'm gonna have to figure that out. I know I can put in here, like, my mics, and I have this Focusrite thing that my mic goes through, and I'm also able to hear I have earpieces here. My mic, I'm able to hear that, and I'm able to hear what's being played. However, it appears it doesn't make its way to StreamYard. If somebody knows how to do that, and this is all being done through OBS. So I'm going to see if I have a friend who does live stream all the time. Clyde Do Something. If you don't follow Clyde Do Something, he does live streams all the time and they're actually pretty great. I really like Clyde. So was if you I really like his channel. So if you don't follow him, I highly recommend, but I'm gonna message him and ask him, how do you get the audio to play? Because yeah, I'm using OBS for what you're seeing because I found StreamYard wasn't able to do capture like the logo and stuff like this stuff. I don't know if you see. You can't even see my arrow except here. Yeah. Okay, well, thanks for letting me know, James. If you don't follow James too, James M. I don't know what your handle is, but anyways, you can see him in the comments. I highly recommend you follow him too. He does a lot of Twitter spaces and I've grown to know him and love him. So, but yeah, maybe he'll come on my show and be a guest on my show. That would be really awesome. He's been doing a lot of work for the Conservative Provincial Party in BC, and I don't think that they know how lucky they are to have him work with them. So he's he's been door knocking a lot. But anyways, I'm not going to do this very long. I just wanted to see how it would work. I'm going to try to problem solve the audio. If you haven't seen that video, basically what it says is that so there was a kangaroo court that said that Israel was committing genocide. They did a warrant for Netanyahu. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that properly. I'll eventually get better at that stuff. But the prime minister of Israel, there's a warrant out for his arrest. And what Trudeau is saying here, basically, we're going to do whatever the international law, court of law says, this kangaroo court. So he's basically saying if Benjamin Netanyahu comes to Canada, that he's going to arrest him. And I think that's completely insane that we have a prime minister who is saying this to one of our greatest allies. And just even seeing what went on with that court case, I just find it it's insane. It just even shows more and more how we need to get rid of Trudeau and put a better, more principled, more morally guided leader in Canada. It just shows how much Canada has fallen. So, but anyways, I will see. So I see on X, there's a lot of comments. I don't see any for Facebook. So if you're watching me, it might not have worked. But anyways, if it's just X, that's a lot of people watching right now. So that's good. I will end this live stream and hopefully on Tuesday I will come back on. I was going to do it Monday, but I've been invited to go to the Ledge in Saskatchewan. They're having the throne speech on Monday. I actually went, I think it was last year or the year before, to the throne speech. So I got a call today with an invite and I was a bit shocked, but yeah, so I'll be heading there on Monday. I might do a quick live stream just to talk about what's happening. Hopefully I'll get to talk some of the elected official and maybe even interview some of them. So I'll probably have some content from Monday, but yeah, there won't be the regular show on Monday. Hopefully on Tuesday, I'll have this sound thing figured out and then I'll be able to get started with keeping you guys up to date. So the title of the show will be Your Daily Dose of Salt and Light with Nadine Ness. So I really wanted to make sure it encompassed who I was. So, and a big part of my life is my faith. So we are called to be salt and light onto the earth. So it was a reminder so that I don't lose my way. And a reminder too for my followers to keep me accountable as Christians. Sometimes we get caught up into the ways of the world and we kind of lose our way a bit. So I want to make sure that I reflect that in my show, that I am salt and light, that I am loving and caring and in the Christ-like way. We know that those words have been twisted all around. So I want to make sure that I'm not caught up in unrighteous anger, and which is hard to do. It's really hard to do sometimes, especially when you have politicians like Trudeau. I know sometimes I'll watch stuff and I'll just like swear words will come to my mind and then I have to repent. But I think as Christians, I think we all struggle with that. So yeah, I wanted to make sure it'd be a direct reflection of who God calls me to be, and what better way of doing that than to making that the title of the show. And that way, and feel free to keep me accountable. If you're a Christian and you don't think I'm being Christ-like, feel free to keep me accountable. But we won't get into big theology, but yeah, so it'll be a big part of the show too. At the end, I'll probably be talking about scripture. I just don't want to put God in a box and hide him away. I don't want to. You don't put the light in under the, what's the scripture, if somebody remembers? You don't put the light under, is it in a box? Anyways, it's around the same scripture. And just so you know, I'm not like some genius that knows the Bible inside and out. I'm still learning. I'm somewhat new Christian. I was atheist most of my life. I actually warned people to stay away from church. But then kind of God took a hold of my life, and it forever changed for the better. I had true peace and joy, which I never had before. So yeah, so it's going to be a big part of the show. Probably I will talk about what's happening in the world and how I, as a Christian, am responding to it, where I feel convicted, where I might feel that I could reflect Christ more in my actions, in how I speak and stuff. So yeah, so we'll see. And we'll see how it goes. I think it's going to be an opportunity to grow myself as well, along with my viewers. So, and obviously, not everyone's going to agree with everything, and that's great too, because then you get to learn from other people. That's one of the things, the reasons too, that I want to do this show, because I feel sometimes we're so stuck in our echo chambers. And look, I'll be honest, mine will be biased. I am a conservative Christian woman, so everything that I'm going to talk about is from that perspective. I'm not going to pretend to not be biased here. I'm not mainstream media. I'm going to be commenting and giving my opinions on things, so it won't be just straight up report the facts. It's going to be more of a commentary thing. But at the same time, I think it's great to have different perspective. And I think when you do it live, it's so much easier to do that. It's so much easier to have other people interject with their own opinions, and then maybe I can respond to them. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes. I decided I'm going to do it at least for a month daily, see if it's too much, if it's not enough. And then I might do clips of it a bit as well, and post those for extra content. So not everyone has to watch the entire thing. So if I have an entire show and there's only about 2 minutes of it that's really good, I might just post that so you don't have to watch the entire thing. So yeah, that's the plan. And hopefully on Tuesday we'll get started after I fix this issue with the sound on the video. But if you didn't get to listen to it and you haven't had it come across your feed, be thankful you don't get to hear Trudeau's voice. And I'll also warn you guys too, for those of you who don't know. So English is my second language. So sometimes you'll hear me say like different tense. My brain is not translating it fast enough. What? Okay, so and I get distracted with comments. So you guys will have to get used to that, because I'm not shying away from who I am. But Dr. Teresa Pierre, oh, I thought it was you. I thought you had said Dr. Teresa Tam had stepped down. I don't know who that is, but I wish Dr. Teresa Tam had stepped down. I got excited there for a second, but I'll kind of probably cover some of that stuff later on. But feel free, if you have this show and you want me to cover something the next day, or you have ideas of things I can look into and talk about the next day, feel free to put it in the comments. The more, and I'll try to read the comments as much as I can. So the more help I get, the easier this job will be, and the more material we'll be talking about that you guys want to hear about. So yeah, if you don't follow me already, my handle on X, on YouTube, on Facebook is Nadine G Ness. So Nadine G as in golf, Ness. And yeah, I do have a website too that we're working on, but it's not live yet. So, and we're hopefully going to stream on other platforms too, but these were the 3 that I had set up and easy to go. So we'll see if it works. But yeah, I still don't see comments from Facebook. So I'm wondering if maybe it's not live streaming there. But maybe it's because I have less followers there. But anyways, I'll end this so you guys can move on with your day. But if you're watching and you want to see more of it, next Tuesday at 10 a.m. Saskatchewan time. So that might trick some of you guys. We don't change time in Saskatchewan. So right now that would be Manitoba time. Eventually we'll be matching with Alberta. Right now it's with Manitoba. So 10 to 11 Manitoba time. See you guys.